After seeing that trailer of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and the awesome debut of Shadow, it is time to break it down. What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you a trailer breakdown of the recent trailer that just came out Tuesday of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 that debuted Shadow the Hedgehog. And man, did they debut him in a way that just delivered, and it delivered well. It's got me hyped for the movie, and now it's time to break it down, so let's get into it. And since this was all about the live action debut of Shadow the Hedgehog, we're going to start off with him. Let me just tell you, throughout that trailer, it just shows how much of a badass he is, just as he's always been here. And sorry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, at least his first names, but Reeves, from the two lines we heard from him in that trailer, sounds like he might just be able to pull it off there. Now, I did see some people around not impressed with that first line when he's confronting Sonic and the others right there. But hey, first off, we just got two lines here, so let's wait for maybe a second trailer of the movie to really see if he can deliver the role on this one. And I think he might be able to, because from what I saw, I'm like, yeah, this looks like he might be able to do it. But the reason I say it like that is because I can't give a definitive yes or no answer right now. All's the same though. What we saw here from him was amazing. Just all these different shots of him, especially during the fight scenes. Let me just say, some of those fight scenes, if some of y'all were paying attention, some of those fight scenes are referenced straight from the games of Shadow the Hedgehog, the Hedgehog game, and Sonic Adventure 2, especially the scenes where he's teleporting all over the place and fighting and knocking out some of them gun soldiers. That is just crazy, and that just reminded me of the cinema opening for Shadow the Hedgehog, where he's teleporting and everything, and I just loved every minute of it. But yes, also, as we saw, the fact that he's teleporting and stuff, that's what makes him a challenge for Sonic. In a way, he's like faster than Sonic. Not in literal fast terms. Is he fast? Yeah, not as fast as Sonic in terms of running? No. But with this whole teleportation thing, he could pretty much stay up with Sonic on that one. And yeah, seeing him not only do that teleportation, but his motorcycle, the Dark Rider. Oh boy, he even teleports with that one. He even creates that iconic picture where he's sliding with that motorcycle as he's about ready to attack. And I love how it also gives reference how when Knuckles and Sonic were fighting in movie 2, near the end of that trailer, those two are coming at each other and just about ready to clash. And now, having said all that though, let's also go into the fact on what more this trailer went on about, and the fact on how it seems Shadow's gonna take Sonic to a whole new place that he's never been before. Because throughout this trailer, first off, Sonic's being the happy-go-lucky person that he is. He, Tails, and Knuckles seem to be living a great life on Earth and stuff with Tom and Maddie, but then they get called in by the government, they go encounter Shadow, and yeah, that encounter doesn't go well for either one of those three. Knuckles, who seems very impressed, and how he looks more serious and threatening compared to Sonic. That was funny. But as soon as he gets knocked out by Shadow, ooh. And then in the fact on later on in the trailer, you see how Sonic is looking. He's too powerful, and then Tails is saying to him, this is a bad idea, and you get this expression off of Sonic saying, when has that ever stopped me? And if you look at that expression, that's not Sonic's normal expression. That's why I say Shadow's going to take Sonic to a new place he's never been before, where he's going to get more serious and seems to go in a more darker level of things. And I wonder why that is. That's where I think it has something to do with this image I'm showing you right here, as Tom is sitting down, and if you look at it, he's wearing a gun uniform. So was he promoted from the officer of his small town of Green Hills to now being a member of Gun? And if he is, it seems like Shadow does something to him. Am I saying he's gonna kill Tom, or No, I'm not saying that, but I'm not throwing that away, because let's not forget Shadow. We all know Shadow's past and stuff. Now, how they're gonna execute it here in this movie, I don't know. But one thing we do know is Marie. They will show Maria dying. Now, how will they literally show her how she died, like getting shot at, or will they just show us that scene that we're seeing right here, where Gerald and Shadow are watching over her dead body and stuff? That's who knows? But my point is, there's a good chance that that could be it. Tom could die, and it looks like Shadow's the cause of it. But at the same time, he couldn't die, but he could seriously get injured. And this is what takes Sonic to a new place. Because if you also see at the end of that trailer, when he and Shadow are launching from each other, and Shadow launching from the sky off his bike, and Sonic looking like he's launching from a tower, you see this expression on Sonic, and it is an expression of pure anger and stuff. And it's not, and anger in Sonic is a very hard thing to do, and yet Shadow's able to do it, showing that, yeah, we're going in a whole new direction here that's going to take Sonic to a place he's never been before, and I am here for it. This is going to look great. But it's also in the fact that after taking a serious major loss to Shadow, this is what's going to make Sonic go to Dr.Robotnik and stuff. And this is where, real quick, I'm going to go into the fact on how the main antagonist. Now, it's pretty clear they're trying to make it look like Shadow's the main antagonist. But here's the thing. I think he's just a part of the plan of the real main antagonist. And that being Dr.GenraldRobotnik, who is, yes, played by Jim Carrey. But the reason I bring that up is because not in the term, we all know, for all people who know the games, they know how he went insane after he lost his granddaughter Maria, and how he used Shadow as his tool to carry out his revenge and stuff. And yet here at the end of the very trailer, we saw Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman and Jim Carrey as Dr. GenraldRobotnik meeting face to face. And you gotta wonder, how's that possible? Project Shadow was 50 years ago, and Gerald Robotnik would have long, no doubt, been dead by now, probably executed by the military. So this is making me think for one, rumors I've seen around on the internet, and thinking that there's some sort of time traveling going on, and through this time travel, Gerald Robotnik somehow makes his way into the present. And there's that chance. There is that chance. But there's also other chances. Don't forget, we're dealing with scientists, people who are geniuses. So maybe he finds a way to prolong his life. Does that mean he finds some sort of energy source to make him still live despite being however old he's going to be in the present? Or does he somehow extend his life by going into hibernation and stuff? Because there's one thing you gotta know about Shadow, is that at the beginning of this film, when they were showing Prison Island, which, by the way, love that shot right there, and I love how it's also saying an original film, letting these people know that the people behind the scenes are making their own story out of things in the Sonic cinematic universe. And I just hope they continue to do what they've been doing, and it keeps going strong. But back to my point, when Shadow is released, they say there's a security breach, but they don't show who released Shadow. That's making me think there that, yes, Gerald Robotnik is the real main villain here, and he is being sneaky here. And then eventually it gets, and by doing this, he's allowing things to be manipulated to his core, to where maybe it gets to where he goes to his grandson here. Because here's the thing. And this is where I'm also going to say that this happens sometime after Dr. Eggman and Sonic are working together. Yes, I said they're working together. And as I said earlier, Sonic gets beat so bad that he goes to Dr. Robotnik for help, which is no doubt what Gerald wants to happen, so that way he can make in contact with his grandson. Why? Because maybe he doesn't know where his grandson is, and he feels that Sonic is the one who can help find him. Which, by the way, when they do meet, it's clear that it's not on out of the good of Eggman's heart, because he's saying, if I can't rule the world, I'll just have to save it. But there's something about that line that kind of makes me think on something else here. But I'll get to that here in a second. When I first mentioned how there's a bargaining chip, that bargaining chip being Sonic's quill. That quill right there, I think that's an indication of what else is going to happen. Not in this movie, but in the next movie or post-credit scenes, as that quill will be the key to Metal Sonic. Yes, Metal Sonic. I believe that will be a post-credit scene, if not a teaser on what they're planning next after this third film. But now having said that, though, let me go back into what I was talking about with Eggman and say, if I can't rule the world, I'll just have to save it. Now, as we know, now this is where you know how quotes are put in some parts of the trailer that just don't necessarily go in that scene there. And this is where I think where when Gerald Robotnik and Dr. Eggman meet, he's going to work with them at first. But then when he sees that what Gerald Robotnik is really trying to do, destroy the world, that's where he'll turn on his grandfather, because he wants to rule the world. And how can you rule a world if the world is destroyed? That's what I'm thinking is going to happen there. Because that's where I think that, yes, Gerald Robotnik is behind the scenes doing all these things while he's letting Shadow going out there causing all chaos and destruction so he can plan for his real threat. That real threat being what we saw in the trailer, this giant ship, which I think is basically what they're going to be the movie's version of the Space Colony arc. And the reason I say this is because I don't think the Space Colony arc might be in this film. Now, I could be wrong, but even if, let's say if it is or isn't, this thing right here is like an introduction of it, or a little prelude to it being somewhere out in space, if it's out there, or it being the actual arc that they're going to send out in space and stuff. You know, kind of like how with Age of Ultron, he created a giant bomb by lifting up a piece of the earth and bringing it up and up until it would start to go down. And what if it's something like that? That big giant floating ship that comes out of the ocean is going to come up, and then Gerald's plan is to make it come down. That's my guess on that end. And yes, and some of y'all are probably wondering, does that mean Shadow doesn't know what he's doing? No, I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing, because he did mention in the trailer that there won't be anything left. In other words, he was talking to somebody. And I think that somebody is Gerald Robotnik. Alright, but that's pretty much all in the trailer, but I just want to leave it by saying one more thing, and this is the thing that unfortunately some Sonic fans are bitter about, which is understandable, but at the same time, like, maybe they shouldn't get so riled up, because maybe what they're wanting is in this movie. They just didn't show it in the trailer, and that is Amy Rose and or Rouge the Bat. Yes, because if you actually look at this image I have right here, as a vortex, it looks like it's sucking everything up. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are tied up and stuff. If you look very closely at that in-between spot of that pole and Sonic's quills, you see a little dark purpleness there. And that maybe could mean that is Amy Rose in there. Mind you, if that is, when does she appear in the film? Who knows? Does she play a big role in the film? Maybe. She was one of the key points in making Shadow remember what Maria wished for him before she died. And that was to make people be happy, continue to let humanity live on and stuff. Now, some are speculating that if Amy isn't in it, that's going to go down to Maddie or any of the human characters, which personally I wouldn't mind. I mean, sure, these human characters may start getting lesser and lesser roles, but at least they need to have some key roles that still make them relevant, since they're part of this cinematic universe here. So I'm all good with that, but at the same time, if Amy shows up and plays that key moment in Shadow's past, I'm good with that too. I just want to make sure, I just hope that the execution is good, is all I'm saying there. And then there's the same with Rouge the Bat. There wasn't any signs I saw in there showing that she might be in there, but still, with Shadow being introduced, eventually Rouge has got to be introduced somewhere down the line. If not in this movie, say maybe a spin-off where Shadow is doing his own thing and this is where he runs into Rouge the Bat? Maybe. All I know is that this trailer gave you some sort of hints that maybe Amy Rose is in there. Like, maybe some of the scenes that we saw, she's in that scene. They just edited out because they don't want us to be spoiled. They want us to be surprised, which I like that idea. But having said all that, guys, this is pretty much all my breakdown thoughts of the trailer, some of the things that are going to happen in here. And yeah, the part about Tom dying and stuff, that one's really got me going, because what's going to happen with Maddie if that happens? How would she feel knowing her husband died? I don't know on that end. But either way, guys, I'd like to know what you guys think about it. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoy my videos, all you gotta do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!